Once the Chiefs are done being the best offense in the world, somebody else will take that crown. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the episode of Heartfelt Radio. Appreciate you for tuning in with me today. This is the show that values time, so let's not waste any. So we got to start with last night's game. Chiefs, Ravens. Ravens come away with the victory. There's a couple ways you could spin this, right? So whenever there's a game, you can look at it from the losing team's perspective, or you can look at it from the winning team's perspective. Let's be slightly objective here, unlike most sports media, and look at it from both. If you are looking at it from the Ravens' perspective, you're on cloud nine this morning. We've all heard Lamar's never got a win against Patrick Mahomes. He's great against everybody else. He's 0-3 versus him. That's the only team they really couldn't get over. Can Lamar win the big game? Baltimore's probably, it is feeling itself right now. From the Chiefs' perspective, well, if I'm the Chiefs, like anything the last couple years, the few losses they've had to endure is they just take a look at themselves and go, we still got Patrick Mahomes. We still have Travis Kelce, who made an incredible play last night. We still have Tyreek Hill. Still have Chris Jones. I think we're going to be okay. Tyrann Mathieu was still playing. He had a really strong start to the game last night. So if you're the Chiefs, you're fine. This is not the end of the world. So one team feels like they're on cloud nine because this is a big, big win for them. And the Chiefs are looking at it as this is kind of just another game, even though it's a game we would have liked to have. The objective view, and I started talking about this last week, is the Chiefs aren't unbeatable, and their gap is no longer as big as it's been in years past. I feel like the Chiefs have gotten, just because of time and proximity, have gotten a lot of comparisons to the Warriors Dynasty run. You know, we look at specifically like those big three players on offense, Mahomes, Kelce, Hill, then obviously the Steph, Clay, Draymond, or Steph, Clay, Durant. Here's the difference though, and why it never felt like anyone caught up to the Warriors, just even outside of them getting injured versus Toronto, versus why it feels like people can catch up to the Chiefs and are starting to catch up to the Chiefs. First off, the Chiefs aren't new. We've had prolific offenses in every era of the NFL. It might not look like this exactly, but we've had prolific offenses. We've had Air Coryell with the Chargers. That was a prolific offense. We've had the 49ers and the West Coast offense. We had the big three in Dallas, that running game, passing game combination. We've had the greatest show on turf. We had Peyton Manning for a decade, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Like, we've had these great runs of offensive stretches that make us feel like that's the greatest offense ever. And not that the Chiefs aren't unique to some degree, because their offense is a speed wide receiver who we didn't consider a true wide receiver when he first broke in, or Travis Kelce, who has a chance to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest tight end we've ever seen. And Mahomes makes throws that you would only try on Madden, and that's because you could unplug the Xbox and say, didn't count. But we've seen great offenses before. The guy we're going to talk about a little bit later, Tom Brady, he had one of the greatest offenses ever until another guy, Peyton Manning, broke his records. So we've seen great offenses before. The difference with the Warriors is no one had ever shot like that. There was no offense or anything to replicate what Steph was able to do and what Clay was able to do shooting a basketball. I understand the entire league looks like that now, but when Steph first came in and the Warriors in 2015, when they started shooting all these crazy amount of three-pointers and they were making them, the league had never seen that before. And I'm not saying talent-wise, the Chiefs might be more talented than the Warriors were straight up. But what the Warriors had was so nuanced to the league at that time. The league never had enough time to catch up and to learn, oh, this is how we stop these guys. There's always going to be great offenses. Once the Chiefs are done being the best offense in the world, somebody else will take that crown. Well, the Chiefs are great. We know they have dynastic potential. We know they're amazing. Mahomes, best player, best quarterback in the league. All that is wonderful. I can still run the ball and keep them on the sidelines, and I can rough them up when they're actually on the field. Two things that make them very distinctly different from the Warriors. Moving on, what's one of our rules here on Hard Foul? You don't bet against Tom Brady, and you don't bet against Bill Belichick. What do you know? One of those weeks, man. Brady, 5 touchdowns, came out the gate. He looked great. He's thrown 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, which you could argue the 2 interceptions aren't his fault. He had a ball that he threw to his running back that was juggled, and another one that the receiver dropped and then gets intercepted. So he's basically off to a 9 touchdown start, no true interceptions. He's 44 years old. He looks great. He's playing great. I mean, appreciate this, you guys. Appreciate this. Understand, like, Brady is like One Piece. Brady is going on 22 years. And mind you, in these 22 years, they are bookended with Super Bowl championships. And he has a chance to win another one. When Brady came into the league, there was already a Brett Favre, multiple-time MVP winner, best quarterback in football. He replaced Drew Bledsoe, who at the time received the largest contract in football. There's already great quarterbacks. And then he played through. There was a quote last week he was talking about, he's like, there's a lot of young guys playing. I'm used to hearing guys like Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers. You've played longer than them, Tom. You've gone through all of them longer. When One Piece started, Dragon Ball was a thing. Gundam was huge. Rurouni Kenshin was big. And then One Piece went through, when Oda was writing, there was Naruto, there was Bleach, there's all these other shows, and now it's like, you're still going. It's like, oh, there's a bunch of kids. There's, that Herbert kid, and, obviously Mahomes, that he's done the last couple years. Oda's writing, there's My Hero, there's Black Clover. It's like, oh yeah, those are really cool. Brady started in 2000, One Piece started in 96. Brady's almost as old as One Piece, and I don't know when the hell either of them are gonna end. 44 years old, man. Appreciate the greatness that we're watching. I don't know when this ends in terms of Brady's career. I don't know when this ends in terms of Brady being dominant. He was joking about playing until he's 50. I no longer know if that's a joke. He wants to play to 50. Oda tells me he's 70% done writing One Piece. I don't know which is true. Growing up, you would hear, I think just a lot of kids, you hear about Haley's Comet. It comes once every 1,000 years or 500 years, or, Matt throws something in the corner for how often Haley's Comet comes. Those kind of things, though, they're anomalies. You don't see them often. They are once-in-a-lifetime miracles, spectacles. That's what Brady is. That's what One Piece is. I just throw my hands up, man. It's just, we don't bet against Tom Brady, and this is why. Because then he's 44 years old and he looks better than 95% of the quarterbacks who are currently playing. Ben Roethlisberger's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And he looks shot. The Steelers' offense doesn't look good. Josh Allen is coming off an MVP season. He's in the prime of his career. Through 2 games, he doesn't look that great. Drew Brees, retired. Peyton Manning has retired and gone in the Hall of Fame. Like, think about that. Peyton Manning and Calvin Johnson both played while Brady played, retired, and waited the 5 years to go into Canton. Hands up, man. What do you say? What do you say? It's Brady. That is it for our YouTube audience. Appreciate anyone that is watching us on YouTube. Don't forget, as always, to comment, like, and subscribe, all that good shit. When we come back, calm down. Calm down.